Reality Team TV, we're back. And right now, I've got the privilege, to have a quick conversation. Could you, even like to get straight into it, could you please, introduce yourself, let the people know who you are and what you do, and obviously, we'll go from there.
Shout out Reality Team TV. I'm Ross Buchanan. I've been a radio presenter. So shout out Reality Team TV. I'm Ross Buchanan, and I have been a radio presenter, a writer, a content creator. I make podcasts. I'm across all forms of different types of media.
Yeah, and over the years, what's been like you said, you're mainly a sound guy, yeah? For those people, because obviously sound is really, really important, obviously when it comes to these conversations that we're having and so forth. For those people how did you get into sound? How did you get into sound?
So I used to be a musician, and I supported an artist called Joan Training. She was quite big in the 80s. And I supported her. I used to live in Scotland, in Aberdeen. I supported her at the Aberdeen Music Hall, which is like roughly 1,000 people capacity, so I played in front of 1,000 people. BBC Radio 2 interviewed me after this performance, and they said what do you like about being a singer-songwriter? And I said not much, to be honest. I actually kind of want to come and do radio. How can I come and work with you? So I managed to get some work experience with the production company who were making that show. I ended up making a BBC Radio 1 documentary at the Commonwealth Games with Nicola Adams, who was doing some boxing. And Dal Roberts presented that. And I basically was an assistant producer on that. Then I went to university and I studied radio. I won a Student Radio Award, which...
Big up. Big yourself out still.
The prize was to go to Mexico. So I got to go to Mexico for 3 weeks and present on a Mexican radio station. They had a translator. I'm not great at Spanish. And from there I landed a job on Radio X, which is a national radio station with Chris Moyles, Johnny Vaughan. It's a great.
Okay, and even you touching on radio, where do you where are you with radio? Because obviously, when I speak to certain people, some people have got mixed opinions of radio. Radio is not how it used to be back in the days. Some people obviously still say that no, radio is still quite important. Where are you with radio? What are your thoughts on radio nowadays?
I think radio is a really interesting medium. It's a great format. It's not often you get live audio. A lot of the stuff that we listen to these days, like podcasts, are kind of, you can enjoy it whenever you like. But I think there's something really special in experiencing something in real time. And having what I always see it as a friend in the room. So somebody who is there chatting to you, no matter what you're doing, whether you're driving, whether you're cooking, whether you're going for a walk, you can listen to the radio and you feel like you've got a friend with you, even if maybe you don't have as many friends in the world, or you just don't feel like hanging out with people that day. I feel like the radio can be that special connection. I don't think that you see that in other mediums. I think it's a really important medium to keep alive, but at the same time I do feel like the industry is shrinking quite a lot. And there's not as much money as there used to be, and obviously it's competing with all the different types of short form media and long form media, and there's just so much going on that obviously radio is feeling the squeeze a little bit, but I don't think anything will ever kill it off completely. Video did not kill the radio star, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And earlier you said you've done some work with Vice. For those people, obviously, I'm sure a lot of people they've watched a lot of documentaries and all sorts. Like I said to you, I used to watch so many different, cool documentaries, on Vice and that. So, what work? How long did you work with Vice for? And if you're still working for them, how was that?
So I first worked for Vice. I was pitching to them for ages. So basically, as a freelance writer, and you want to write for a publication, right? Or you want to make something for a company, you have to pitch them. You have to pitch them I've got this idea, I want to make it, will you fund me to make this idea, right? So I had so many bad ideas, and every every like week basically, I was just emailing all the different editors advice saying like,
You have to
hey,
try, bro.
I
You have
want
to
to
try.
make this, I want to make that. Some absolutely shocking ideas.
Yeah.
And then one day, me and my now wife, we were living in the flat, and our landlord decided that they were going to keep £2,000 worth of our deposit, so they weren't going to give our deposit back. And what I did, and I love like legal things, like I get really like nerdy with that kind of thing. So basically I went to the tenancy deposit scheme, and I won back all the money.
Big up! You want all of it back?
The landlord didn't keep
Big yourself up, man. Big yourself up.
And
Can I ask a quick question as well? Yeah.
Yeah.
Overall, how long did it take you to win all of like your deposit back?
it was deep. It like definitely like put a spanner in the works in terms of like moving into our next base.
Okay.
Like I remember having to like borrow some money to get the deposit on the next house or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely like was a big financial disruption for us, and I think it took like 6 months. I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
2 to 6 months,
Oh,
and you're supposed to get that back within a week of moving out. So
Wow.
you can put it on the next base. So we
Yeah.
didn't get that money back for a while. But what happened was I told Vice, I was like, hey, I've got a story. I want my money back. Can I write about it? And they were like, yeah, we love it. So then, not only did I get the money back, I also got paid to do it. Like it was such
Winning.
such a win.
Either way, winning in both ways.
Such
Yeah.
a win.
Yeah, and obviously, as much as you want to touch on, obviously, you know, like even like you said, like you're a married man now. You know, congratulations with that.
Thank you.
You know, hopefully I can get married one day as well. And you know, like the times that we're living in, like you know, I feel like. Not to sound like an old man or whatever, like back in the days, you know, back in the days when I was a bit younger, I feel like marriage, people really like appreciate marriage a lot more, like in different ways. But I feel like the day and age that we're living in now, forever, people are still getting married, like people like you. But I feel like a lot of people, they don't really, I feel like that essence, that, I don't know
got a
to put a word to
tradition,
it. Yeah. Like, how is it being a married man? And yeah, how is marriage life in general?
My life's great.
Yeah.
I feel like I really lucked out when I met Lottie. Like she's totally amazing. Like she's just been like my rock. She's supported me through so much, and and like it was just kind of a no-brainer really. Like we got married after like 2 years together because we were just like we just knew that was the vibe, and we've been together for nearly 6 years now. And we've got a baby who's like a month old.
Congrats.
I think it's just it's a really special. It's a really special thing to get married, and I think it's really sacred, and it's just nice to know that you've got your life partner and someone who's always going to back you.
Yeah.
I think that's really important.
Yeah, I love that, man. And at the moment, and even like right now, like what kind of things are you working on at the moment? You know, what are you doing right now? You know, yeah, what are you doing right now at the moment?
So right now, obviously, I'm focusing on being a dad because
daddy life, so, come on.
So special. But in terms of like. In terms of my personal life, like I'm currently in the process of moving to the seaside.
Okay.
Which would be quite good. We're going to move to Margate, which is just like a lot cheaper than living in London.
Yeah.
And then from like a work perspective, I am working on a few different projects, making some podcasts with some like really great companies. I'm like shooting stuff with NME. I'm constantly pitching new ideas to different publications and trying to work on new different bits. But yeah, constantly just making ideas.
Constantly
just making
ideas. Yeah, constantly just ideas just flowing out, right? And you spoke of obviously podcasts as well. Like I'm a big fan of podcasts. Yeah. What kind of podcasts like do you watch? What kind of podcasts are you into?
Yeah.
Or you're more onto the production side more, if you're going to understand, rather than being a consumer?
Definitely both.
Okay, cool.
I think it's like so important if you're gonna like be invested in I feel like if you direct movies, you don't need to know every movie, but you need to know what's going on in the industry. And like I feel like it's a lot better if you like genuinely enjoy the medium that you make. So like if I didn't listen to podcasts or I didn't enjoy listening to podcasts, I don't think I'd be able to make them as well as I do.
Okay,
so
that makes perfect sense as well, by the way.
I love listening to this one called Song Exploder, which is like really short form podcasts where they get incredible musicians in, like really like famous people.
Yeah.
and they break down just like one song, like how they made it, like what was the influences at the time. I really enjoy listening to it. Like it's just such an easy win as a podcast. And then like I quite like interview podcasts as well. Like I feel like they're quite good. Like
that kind of format as well.
When you get someone good, it's like and like Louis Theroux's got a new podcast out, is really good. And I feel like he's just so good at breaking down interviews and like getting the best stories out of people. Yeah.
So overall, are you looking to you see like future plans and so forth? Yeah, like what you would like to do for yourself. Are you looking like what are you looking to like build your own platform as well, or obviously to do more work with platforms like Vice? Like what are your your future plans? Like what would you like to eventually when the dust has settled? Yeah, what would you like to do?
I feel like I've been really blessed to work with some like great people, Vice, NME, Absolute Radio, Radio X. I've got a decent TV, and I feel like the one thing that I haven't done is like really own something myself. So as you say, like starting my own like network is a really good idea.
For real.
I'd love to, my goal is like I make podcasts for like big companies, right? Like I make like corporate podcasts, and a lot of people listen to them, and like that's really good. But I want to have like my own idea, and I want to like build that and like turn it into something big. I want to like 100% own a podcast that's like really popular that people love. So I'd love to do that. I think that's like my main career vision at the moment.
Now you're definitely gonna get there, man. Absolutely gonna get there. It's only a matter of time, like we keep on saying, one step at a time. We do whatever things that we need to do, and then eventually, like our dreams will come to reality, right? And even from like, talking about just a little bit about obviously Fat Maces as well. Like, how did you, like how long have you known Fat Maces personally? And like how long have you known Fat Maces personally?
So I met Meg through my wife Lottie, who they did a course together called Year Here, which is I don't think it runs anymore, but basically was helping people like start their own social enterprises and build up some really cool ideas. So they knew each other from then, and that's kind of like how I got into it.
Okay. And overall, like I keep on saying, like the charity is growing like in many, many different ways. Like what are your thoughts on, like in terms of like the job like Fat Maces is doing for people like me, just like in general, like what are your thoughts in terms of like, just the work that Fat Maces is doing, man?
I think it's amazing. I think it's really cool. And I think like when you start a charity, like it can be difficult to like have a vision, and like I think helping people who've experienced homelessness through hospitality, and like through the different like also like not the loopholes, but like the way they've like worked it out so that people can stay in accommodation whilst they work and then get their deposit. Like it's just like such a brilliant idea, and like watching that happen and like meet people like yourself and just like seeing like how amazing it is it's really cool. Yeah.
And earlier you said you soon you're moving outside of London, like in future would you ever like to move back to London? Like what is your beef with London? What is your beef with London?
I have got no beef with London. Like, I think like, I just can't afford it. Like living, like I think we just brought our son into the world, and like I just want a bit more space, and obviously that's like really privileged to be able to like move. But like my wife grew up in London. She's from South London. She's lived her whole life, so I think like it is quite a big step for us, and I don't think that's something we take lightly. But like just quite excited to just be by the sea and just like have a little bit more of a chilled out life, and like let my son just go to the beach and stuff like that.
And even as a father, like as a father myself, as a parent myself, I love having conversations about fatherhood with other fathers as well. Like people, I'm always curious, like in terms of like finding out from other fathers how becoming a father, how that has changed the outlook or whatnot. Like how has that changed you? Like has becoming a father changed you as a person, your outlook of reality of life in general? Like becoming a father, like how has that changed you?
I think it's like, obviously it's a really new experience for me.
Of course.
I'm only 1 month in.
Of course.
But I do think like just putting somebody else's needs ahead of your own is such an interesting thing to experience. It's not really like something that you fully experience on a 24/7 basis, like in any other aspect of life. Like when you bring someone into the world, you start putting their needs ahead of your own, and that could just be like in terms of like sleep, or like, you know, my son eats before I do, like that. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the kind of thing, and just like, yeah, I think that's just it's a really humbling experience, and it's a really like, I don't know, every day is just like such a blessing when you've got a child. I just
Proper.
It's just like, it's like something I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be a dad. It's like literally my goal.
And you're still getting, obviously, like you said, you know, your son is only 1 month old.
Yeah.
How you, within that 1 month so far, how are you finding, because this is one of my favorite questions to fathers, just parents in general, new parents in general, like, how was the late night feeds and all of that? How are you finding that so far?
It's chill, man. Like, I've partied harder than this.
Okay.
Like,
one of them was.
I've had late nights than this.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
And like, I think the thing is, like, it's different because it's like you're doing something it's not like you're just staying up and, you know, working, or like, you know, some random boss is like benefiting from your, like, from you staying up late, you know, like pulling a late shift at a restaurant or a bar. Like, I've done like hospitality work, and like, you know, you can step to like 3 in the morning doing like a cruise or whatever. And it's not like that, because it's like, it's not just some random guy that's like benefiting from me being up late. It's like my son's benefiting from me being up late, and he needs me, and like I'm feeding him, and like I'm changing his nappy, and like there's just like it just doesn't matter as much. You just don't deep it as much, because you're just,
that's your twin. That's you. That's your own reflection. That's the way I call it. This is my little twin. This is my little mini me that people are saying it. So yeah.